FHS Season Tickets.
Welcome into the final episode of FHS Season Tickets. I'm Michael.
And I'm Nick.
And boy, it's been a ride, Nick. 2 years, 0 Browns wins on Sundays.
That's the craziest stat. 0 Browns win on Sunday in my tenure. I'm sorry, Browns. Hopefully I cursed you. Hopefully Jordan Season Tickets was the curse. It will be broken next year.
Yeah,
I won't be covering.
Because I am kicking you out and then retiring from season tickets, so the curse can be
So the
lifted
curse is broken
from
there.
the Cleveland Browns. But we're not here to talk about that unsuccessful Cleveland sports team. We're going to talk about a successful Cleveland sports team in the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Good
and
way
also
to end
the
it
NBA overall. Yeah, the Cavs a much more positive topic, and they've been a lot better for us as a show throughout our time at FHS Season Tickets as the Cavs. They've made the finals every single year that we've done season tickets so far, so hopefully they can keep the streak going and make it a perfect 4 for 4. Nick, we'll start off. Do you think they make it a perfect 4 for 4 and defeat the Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving-less Boston Celtics?
Yeah, I think that they're going to make it. I think that the Boston team, they don't have the superstar talent to be able to hang with the likes of LeBron and just playing at another worldly level. Like, obviously, LeBron's the whole team, so if Brad Stevens, the only hope I give them is a Brad Stevens-led strategy to, because he before strategy coaching really didn't play a part because you couldn't plan for both LeBron and Kyrie. You just had to have better players, which was what Warriors had every year. But
are you saying Steve Kerr isn't the only reason the Warriors won the title?
Yeah, no, that's a hot take.
Best winning percentage for like 4 years as an NBA coach ever.
I'm sure. I'm sure he probably has the best winning percentage ever.
Yeah.
Like just of any coach, no matter about 4 years or not.
So, and he missed that like 32-4 run when Luke Walton was coaching too.
Oh yeah, he did miss that. When they started out like 20-0. That was
No. I thought he was coaching that year.
That was the year they won 73-9. So was he?
I thought it was in the middle of the season when he went down.
But anyways, regardless, I think that Stevens is gonna do a lot more in the series than he's done before. I think like strategizing against the team. I mean, you saw with the Pacers, like they didn't have that many All-Stars. I wouldn't say. I mean, maybe Oladipo's one, but I'm not too sure yet. It's just our defense made him look good.
Stevenson.
Our defense made him look like an All-Star out there. Like that man was driving at will. So
he was actually pretty bad throughout the whole series. Like if you look at his stats, yeah, it was surprising.
So anyways, I think that Stevens could play a lot bigger factor in this series than he usually does. Because there's a lot more that you could plan for with this LeBron-heavy carried Cavs, but I could see LeBron carrying for one last time in this series and LeBron becoming a dominant force yet again, carrying us to the finals. Unfortunately, not to be the spoiler here, but unfortunately, I think if we see the Warriors or maybe even the Rockets, could be a bad,
go our way.
Yeah, it could be a bad finals for us, but just in specific to Eastern Conference, I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I would agree. I would take the Cavs to beat the Boston Celtics. I think it's just way too difficult for the Celtics without Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. I'm surprised they even got this far. And when the playoffs started, my playoff prediction would have been, or it was, the Celtics defeating the Bucks and then losing to the 76ers in the Eastern Conference semifinals, and Sixers had more talent, but the way Brad Stevens was able to shut down a one-dimensional player in Ben Simmons was very impressive, but there are no one-dimensional stars on the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's just one star, and his name is LeBron James, and he is not going to get shut down by any Brad Stevens game plan or anything, I don't think. I think that would be just impossible to see actually playing out in this series. I think that the only way that the Celtics stand a chance is if the Cavs struggle to find their role players to score the ball and they have the same mental breakdowns that the Philadelphia 76ers had in crunch time, because that's one thing that the Boston Celtics have been doing very well. And also the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers have won a lot of tight playoff games so far this season. Besides the Game 4 against Toronto and Game 2 against Toronto, I believe they've only had one other win in the whole playoffs by more than 7 points. So the Cavs have won a lot of games by very thin margins, but the
Lost a
Boston,
lot too.
I don't
By
think
thin
so.
margins? Or we got blown out?
Yeah, because game 6 against Indiana we lost by a lot. Game 1 against Indiana we lost by a lot. And what was the other game we lost? Game 4? I forget how much we lost that game by, but I'm pretty sure we haven't really had a close loss yet. Maybe game 4, I don't know. But I know that they got blown out game 1 and game 6. And
I don't know what's
Boston,
more encouraging. Losing close or just losing a playoff?
losing close, definitely more encouraging. But yeah, just going back to Boston, they just showed much more poise than Philadelphia did throughout that series. And they play older than their ages because you think Smart's still kind of young, Rozier's still kind of young, Tatum is a rookie, Brown's in his second year. Horford is really the only guy with serious playoff experience before coming to Boston, really, who's in like one of the core guys in their rotation because obviously they have like, I don't know if Aaron Baines has any real playoff experience.
Detroit.
Yeah. Who else? Who else would have playoff experience? I can't think of anybody who's in their rotation. But
I mean, not really anyone else.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Boston and Cleveland, two teams that have been great in close games in the postseason, how those close games do play out because I think there will probably be one blowout on each side, maybe 2 blowouts for the Cavs compared to 1 to Boston. And then the series is just going to be decided by a couple close plays in the fourth quarter. And as we've seen time and time again, LeBron James has come in clutch for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I expect him to do that again to lead the Cavaliers to their 4th straight NBA Finals, which would just be an incredible accomplishment.
Yeah.
Anything else you have to say about it?
No, I mean, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, Terry
Nonetheless.
Rozier coming back home to Cleveland, the Shaker native. That's going to be
He's a Shaker
interesting.
native?
Yeah, he went to Shaker Heights High School, so that'll be interesting to see playing out if he has a good series.
He's been going off low-key in the NBA. He's actually a good NBA player.
Yeah, I think he's a free agent this year, so he's making himself a lot of money in these playoffs.
Yeah, he's not going to be kept by the Celtics. I'm sorry, Rozier.
Well, they're not going to keep both him and Smart. It'll be interesting to see.
They're not keeping both him and Kyrie. Rozier's been dogging in the playoffs. I think he's going to want a bigger role, and Kyrie's going to be there. It's not going to be.
Who's going to offer him that much bigger role that's still going to be a playoff contender, though?
I don't know if it's even going to
I
be
mean,
a
he
playoff
could get
contender.
paid by the Suns. but
Exactly,
you think
that's what I'm
Rozier
saying.
wants to go to the Suns?
For money, dude, anyone will do it. I think, especially from Shaker. No offense.
I don't know. What's the difference between $12 million a year and $20 million a year?
This is a math question. $8 million, Mike.
Yeah, but like stuff you can buy and stuff
Well,
like that, and like
$8
how you
million.
hang
I
out.
could buy a lot with $8 million.
No,
I don't know if you guys could. But
Obviously.
fans at home, leave a comment if you could buy
obviously
something with
$8
$8 million.
million, but how much differently?
So what's the question?
How much differently would your life change?
$8 million
getting
more.
$20 million to $12 million, and I think
$8 million
Boston's a
more.
better situation for him because they're going to win a lot more than Phoenix.
Well,
would.
that's what someone from the fan side of it say. When you're actually asked if you want $20 million or $12 million, and your career lifespan is not the rest of your life, then you're going to take the $20 million, no matter what team it is from.
Kevin Durant sacrificed $30 million
After
to
getting
Oklahoma
like
City.
tons of money in shoe deals, I don't think Eddie Rozier is selling those shoes.
I mean, the Scary Terry T-shirts; those might be $1 billion companies.
That's scary.
And now we're going to be previewing the only other conference finals matchup, the matchup that pretty much everybody has been waiting for. The Houston Rockets going up against the Golden State Warriors. Nick, will the Daryl Morey created team have enough with home court advantage to dethrone the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant?
I don't know. I don't see it happening. I mean, the Warriors are just a dynamo. I think that the Rockets, I think Harden just is too much on the shoulders of Harden, Chris Paul to go up against those 4. I just don't think that they have the balance on both ends of backcourt and frontcourt to be able to contest with the Warriors, who basically have it all backcourt, frontcourt play, just everything. So I don't see it happening. I mean, Warriors, it's hard to even make a case for another team. So I think it's going to be quick work, especially when you start getting to the end here, where they're going to be really motivated to beat both the Rockets and either Cavs or Celtics.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I'm not picking against the Warriors for any reason. There's no reason for me to do it. So I'm just gonna pick the Warriors to win the series. It's going to be interesting. Considering Houston does have home court advantage, I think it's a little overblown because the Warriors are a great team on the road, and also I would say Houston's crowd doesn't bring like the same atmosphere as some other home crowds do. I feel like the difference between Houston at home and Houston on the road, and also Golden State at home and Golden State on the road, is lower than some other teams on home at home and on the road. So I think home court advantage will be less of a factor in the series than it would be in your average NBA playoff conference finals series. And I just still don't think that Houston is going to be able to match up physically with them. Obviously, after the very talented...
Who's guarding Durant?
PJ Tucker. That's a problem.
That's the series right there. PJ Tucker guarding Durant. That's the series. I'm sorry.
And then
it's over.
The
Like we already saw what happened with LeBron, and LeBron took it to him on the, and that's what PJ would rather have. He's gonna have to be guarding on the wings, dude.
Or it'll be Luka and Bamute.
That's the series right there.
I mean, he's a solid defender, but doesn't give you a lot on the offensive end. So we'll see what Houston does. Clay's also like the best
who's going Clay?
defender, Harden.
Okay, that's good matchups with Chris Paul and Steph.
Yeah, but Clay is like the best defender in the league against James Harden, limiting him getting to the free throw line. Like Clay fouls the least out of any perimeter defender against James Harden.
I just don't see it, man. Thinking of these matchups right now, you're gonna give Durant and Draymond.
I think Capella is gonna outplay whoever the Warriors start at center, and then I think
obviously, but how much of a difference is that actually gonna make?
Well, there's one situation where you can go,
Zaza. Everyone outplays Zaza, they still win.
I know, but
it's no, I just don't see it happening. I mean, you're gonna give Durant and Draymond
basically
breaks on defense, able to like roam the rim, and just get blocks for days.
Basically, Harden and Chris Paul have to outplay Steph and Clay by a significant margin for the Rockets to win.
And that's outplaying Steph, who's arguably the best player on that team. I would probably say best player on that team, just because of how important he was whenever he was off. Like
that's what I've been saying for a while now.
Dude, I just don't see it happening. I'm actually excited to watch this. Like
I am very excited to watch this.
It's gonna be crazy.
Besides every NBA Finals that the Cavs have ever played in, and the Oklahoma City Thunder series against the Golden State Warriors,
where they choked the 3-1 lead.
Yes. Remember when I said in like March that year that the Thunder had the best chance to, or they had a better chance to beat them than the Spurs did, and everyone was like hyped about the Spurs. I know, but this was like in school, like we were talking about this, yeah. And then I was like all year, I was like, I think the Thunder will give the Warriors a lot more problems than the Spurs would have. And then the Thunder beat the Spurs, because Spurs had a ridiculous regular season record that year too. Everyone was like, oh, we're not getting Warriors, Spurs, which everyone wanted. And I was like, I think the Thunder are going to give them a lot of problems. I didn't think they would beat them. Then I saw them go up 3-1. I was like, wow, like that's crazy. And then things just fell apart. Durant goes to Golden State, and the rest is history.
Durant making the wimpiest move of all time.
Yeah.
Diary of a wimpy basketball player, man.
What's next? Rozier staying in Boston, form a dynasty? I'm not sure.
Dude, that Boston could be a dynasty one day.
They could be.
Well, with that, I think we're gonna do it. We have.
Is that gonna be the last take ever on FHS? The Boston Celtics could be a dynasty.
Hey, always remember that I called Dak Prescott.